a very warm welcome to this special. We are looking ahead to the first ODI between India and Zimbabwe that will be played at the Harare Sports Club. And the news from Harare is that India have won the toss and they've opted to bowl first. KL Rahul, the captain at the toss, saying that they will want to bowl first because they want to, it's an early start to the game and they want to utilize some moisture in the wicket. Now, we were all wondering as to what India's playing 11 would be. We'll take you through that, but for all of you, the news is that India have won the toss and they've opted to bowl first in the first ODI against Zimbabwe. Nikhil Narayan's here with me as well as we take you through what we can expect from the game that is coming up today. But if we talk about the playing 11, let us also first tell you what the playing 11 is. And I think, you know, people are wondering whether KL Rahul would be opening with Shikhar Dhawan with an eye on the Asia Cup. He would want some match time, would want to, you know, look at himself as an opener because he does open in the T20 International. But from what it looks like right now, Shubman Gill is going to open with Shikhar Dhawan. Then you have Ishan Kishan, he's there as well, KL Rahul, Deepak Hooda, Sanju Samson, and then there is Akshar Patel, Deepak Chahar, Kuldeep Yadav, Prasidh Krishna and Mohammad Siraj. That's along expected lines, Nikhil. I think the one thing was that whether they would have played Rituraj Gaikwad in place of Ishan Kishan, but they've gone with Ishan Kishan, and one has to feel for him as well because he was seen as your top choice backup opener. But suddenly all of that has changed with India trying Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, on as the opener, but it does sort of you know, you need it to give him that opportunity, that chance. How do you look at that? The fact that in all likelihood KL Rahul will play in the middle order, which he's done in ODI cricket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised actually. I mean, this is what we also discussed in our preview show yesterday, Meha, that KL Rahul in ODI cricket has flourished at number 5 and his strike rate goes up to 114 from number 5 than as an opener, where it goes down to as low as 80. So therefore, there is a problem. And I think India is trying to make a distinction between the two formats, the 50-over format and the 20-over format, which is right. I mean, they're two separate formats altogether with separate strategies. And therefore, KL Rahul, also I think the reason KL Rahul is not opening, although the Asia Cup and World T20 are around the corner, is that Shikhar Dhawan is in the squad and he's also your vice captain. Now you can't have, first you demote him from captain to vice captain, then you can't not play him in the 11. If he has to play, he has to open. Shubman Gill you can't drop because he's a player of series in your last ODI series. So KL Rahul has to then play at number 4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay, so for all of you, let's just take you through the playing 11 once again before we get talking about what is expected even out of someone like Deepak Chahar, who is making a comeback after almost 7 months due to injury. How important is this for him? Because remember, in Asia Cup, we know Jasprit Bumrah is not going to be playing the Asia Cup. In all likelihood, Harshal Patel also will not be playing because he is still injured. So it's important that Deepak Chahar performs well in this series, and in fact he is now the backup bowler in that Asia Cup squad, with the selector saying that look, if he does well here in Zimbabwe, then we will put him there in the squad. But look at that. And the other thing I also see is in the list that they have sent, and you know, obviously that does not really show you the order in which the batters would come, but the list that has been sent, the playing 11 that has been sent by the BCCI, in which I saw Deepak Hooda come up the order. Do you think that's something that also they look to do? Because here I'm seeing Deepak Hooda come above Sanju Samson, below KL Rahul, who's been slotted in at number 4. So Deepak Hooda at number 5, which is what we were discussing yesterday as well, Nikhil, that his role in ODIs has been of a finisher, coming in at around at number 6. We saw that even against West Indies. Right. But is he someone who they are seeing now, they are grooming to be that all-rounder in ODIs with an eye on the 2023 World Cup?
Absolutely. And as far as his position is concerned, Maya, see, he's done well at number 3 and 4 in T20Is.
Correct.
But he's in the domestic setup. He was a brilliant finisher in the Saeed Mushtaq Ali and the Vijay Hazare Trophy. So he knows how to hit the long ball. So 5 or 6 is also, a good position for him. I think he'll be used as a floater. There won't be a fixed position for Deepak Hooda in either of the teams, in the ODI team and the T20 team. Just because of the other batsmen who have to make up the 11. So I think Deepak Hooda will be used as a floater. Something which Rohit Sharma has also said, that he wants players to be flexible, more so in the T20 format, but also in the ODI format. I think Deepak Hooda can do various roles for India. He can play at number 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is the nature of the limited overs game now.
The other thing is also, I mean, even when you see this here, Avesh Khan, he's in the team, but he's not playing today. He's not in the playing 11. I feel that even for Avesh Khan, he's been given enough chances, but he has not really grabbed those chances. He's been expensive, hasn't been taking as many wickets.
Right.
You remember the no ball in the last over that gave a win to the West Indies. I mean, I do feel that if Deepak Chahar does well here, there's a huge opportunity for him.
There's a huge opportunity. I think Avesh Khan is falling in the pecking order. I think he's now behind, Harshad Patel. He's behind, there's Deepak Chahar, there's Prasidh Krishna, there's Bumrah. There is an outside chance I'm hearing that Mohammad Shami might be in the mix, especially if Jasprit Bumrah doesn't make it to the World T20 squad for the first half. So, there is Arshdeep Singh. So, Avesh Khan, his main problem has been his economy rate.
Correct.
His economy rate in the death overs is above 10 per over, and it's too expensive. There are specialists who are giving you 8 to 9, 7.5 to 9. Therefore, Avesh Khan needs to control, the number of runs he's conceding in the death overs. Otherwise, he'll find it tough to make it, forget the 11, even the 15.
Okay, now what is it that KL Rahul said at the toss? Let's take you through that before we continue this conversation. He says, of course, he said that he'd like to bowl first, which, by the way, even the Zimbabwe captain, Regis Chakabva, he said we would have liked to bowl first as well because, in the series that Zimbabwe played against Bangladesh as well, you did get some help for the fast bowlers early on. There were early starts even in that series. But Zimbabwe have had a problem with their top order, though Sikandar Raza was their top scorer. But KL Rahul, this is what he said at the toss. He said, looks like a good wicket. It's an early start, so we could have a bit of moisture. Good opportunity to bowl first and exploit the first hour. He's talked a lot about opportunity and good chances for them, and I think that's how they're all seeing the Zimbabwe series. But for KL Rahul himself, Nikhil, not just captaining the series, coming down in the middle order and still playing. Now, I'm wondering as to what is the kind of role that he's going to play, because what he's doing right now is possibly auditioning for the Asia Cup and the World Cup, which is a T20I format, but he's playing ODIs and that too in the middle order. How do you see him approaching in a team which is now talking about aggressive cricket, not just in T20Is but also in ODIs, which is what Rohit Sharma said, right? He said this in a press conference that I see ODIs as an extension to T20I cricket. We'll be aggressive there as well.
Yeah, I mean, for KL Rahul, his strike rate in the middle order is very impressive. That's the role he has assumed for India in the last couple of years. He's got 100 also, so it's 114 is his strike rate. So I think batting at 5 especially, will be ideal for him. But given that he wants to consume as many deliveries as possible, Meha, he may just push himself to number 4 in this match at least. But I think in the long run, given India's composition of the 11, I think KL Rahul fits in at number 5 as he was doing in the last couple of years. I think because the opposition is not so strong, you can continue to attack. I think India will play with that aggressive template. KL Rahul knows that aggressive template. Forget his personal views, what he had reservations against strike rate in the past. I think all that is in the past. Even for KL Rahul, the IPL batsman, if you do an analysis, when KL Rahul scores above 150, his 30 plus scores above 150 increase the team's chances of winning to 80% and more. If he scores below 150, 30 plus scores, the strike rate, the team chances fall, whether it was Punjab Kings or any other team, they fall considerably. So KL Rahul, the aggressor, at either opening or in the middle order, is beneficial to whichever team he plays for, whether it's an IPL franchise or for India. And that is the new template. Also, KL Rahul has all the shots.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost like Surya Kumar Yadav. He has all the shots. He's a classical batsman. There is no reason for him to play within himself. There is enough talent in the Indian team, unlike in Punjab Kings, you know, where it was top heavy. He was worried if he gets out, they'll collapse. But the Indian team, there's enough talent above him, below him. He can go all out.
What about this conversation around KL Rahul opening? I mean, obviously there were, cricket analysts who thought that KL Rahul, given that they are looking ahead to the Asia Cup, they don't have much time, KL Rahul will open and he is your opener in the T20 internationals. Should they have stuck with KL Rahul as an opener in ODIs as well, just to let him try that? And I know there are two different formats, but then how else do you give the player the same kind of a match circumstance, a match situation?
They could have, but then what they would have also have to have done was either drop Shikhar Dhawan out of the 11, because Shikhar Dhawan can't bat at 4 or 5. I mean, he hasn't done it for years. I mean, so Shikhar Dhawan, then the vice captain sits out, which is a bit of a problem, as we discussed. Or Shubman Gill is unfairly pushed down the order, and Shubman Gill, they're definitely seeing as potential opener with Rohit Sharma for the ODI World Cup, especially after the man of the series performance against the West Indies at home, against the West Indies away. So therefore, I think, you know, there was no option but for KL Rahul not to open.
Yeah, that's actually got me to the next.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually got me to the next conversation around Shubman Gill. That how Shubman Gill, in the way he's played in that ODI series, you know, and specifically that 98 not out, and the way he's been playing, you know, I mean, we always felt that Shubman Gill was a very good batsman, but the improvement in his game, the improvement in his approach to limited overs, to ODIs, has been phenomenal. It's been completely different from what he was before the West Indies series, and in this series he's just come as a changed person, right? So you are right in saying that right now the team management would be looking at Shubman Gill as their,
opener with Rahul.
For now, backup opener, but if he keeps doing well, possibly an opener for the World Cup.
Absolutely, and therefore they're persisting with him at the top of the order. See, Shubman Gill, again, like KL Rahul, he thought strike rates are overrated.
Yeah.
And not a surprise, because his personal strike rate was 117, 119 in IPL 2020 and IPL 2021, which was detrimental to his team, the Kolkata Knight Riders. I mean, he wasn't playing well. He had all the shots, but for some reason he was playing within himself. He was playing the anchor role. But suddenly, you know, this season, a change of team, he struck at 133. 3 knocks, you know, he was scoring 70, 80 or 40, 45 deliveries, took his side to victory. Again, he continued that for India, and in the West Indies series, he took it to another level. You know, some of those knocks, 98 of 98, but that knock which stood out for me was, I think, some 75 or 40 odd which he scored, which was absolutely brilliant. I think in the second ODI. So, Shubman Gill, you know, again, you know, he's a classical batsman who has all the shots. It's a very rare combination. He's not a slogger. He has the defensive technique, and he can, you know, score at a strike rate of above 100 in ODIs and above 140 in T20s, which is a rare talent to have. And therefore, his change of mindset and approach is very crucial to India, and therefore they're going to back him as an opener, at least in ODIs.
Now, for the bowlers, this series becomes more important with now, I get the sense, as the World Cup is approaching, you know, to have your top bowlers fit, and whether they will be fit, whether you'll get your first choice bowlers, whether you'll be lucky enough, it's a big question. And that's why someone like Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna as well, you know, also Kuldeep Yadav, he's getting an opportunity here after a really long time. How do you see that panning out? Because Yuzvendra Chahal has more or less cemented his place, right? He's right there. He's done it all to say that I am going to be your first choice spinner. Where does this leave Kuldeep Yadav?
I mean, see, if Chahal is playing, Ravindra Jadeja is also playing. I mean, so you have your 2 spinners. Now, I'm not sure, the matches are in the UAE, Asia Cup I'm talking about. Asia Cup, you might get an extra spinner. Asia Cup, you might play a 3rd spinner. But I'm not sure in Australia, you're going to play a 3rd spinner. So, therefore, it's going to be a struggle. If Jadeja is injured, yes, then the likes of Kuldeep, do have a chance, or Aksar has a chance. But otherwise, I think India will go in with, 3 seamers and Jadeja plus Chahal. That has to be the template. But Kuldeep Yadav, again, I mean, between 2017 and 2019, Meha, we remember what Kulchar did. India was the #1 ranked team before England came up, and the pairing of Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav was, played a pivotal role with the ball in the middle overs to ensure that India, control that phase of play. And decimate opposition batting lineups across the world. Kuldeep Yadav, in fact, I saw in that period was the second highest wicket taker in the world after Rashid Khan, interestingly, between 2017 and 19, before his form fell in the IPL and in international cricket. So Kuldeep Yadav since then has made a comeback. I do see him in the scheme of things, in the next couple of years, 3 years, 4 years. But as of now, I mean, he'll just, struggle to find a place in the 11 because Jadeja and Chahal, they have to play in the 11. As far as Prasidh Krishna is concerned, that is someone, I think he's going to be one of India's stars. Prasidh Krishna, just because of, the bounce he generates from a short of a length, area. And in Australia, that length will be absolutely crucial. So Prasidh Krishna, extra bounce, pace, also already his record for India in the few matches he's played is absolutely phenomenal. His wicket-taking ability I'm talking about. If you see his list A record also, that wicket-taking ability stands out. So it's a very important, so Prasidh Krishna I think is more important for me in this series than a Mohammad Siraj. I see Mohammad Siraj more as a test bowler than a limited overs bowler. He was also disappointing in the IPL. Not that he's a bad limited overs bowler, but I think his bowling is suited more to test cricket.
Now, this is also an opportunity for Sanju Samson. Not always a Sanju Samson, when he's been given an opportunity, has been able to capitalize on it. And people keep wondering why is it that Sanju Samson's not been given as many opportunities. This, again, is an opportunity for him. And there are a lot of Sanju Samson fans. The part that stands out for me is that when he's not playing, people are constantly on social media saying, why isn't Sanju Samson playing? He's playing now. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, Sanju Samson, again, he's phenomenally, the thing is, he has been phenomenally talented for a while now.
Yeah.
But that talent you only see, sometimes in the IPL.
Yeah.
He starts the IPL with brilliant centuries, 150 balls, this, that. Then it goes down, and then he doesn't replicate it for India. That's the problem. If you don't replicate it for India, then Rohit Sharma has openly backed him, by the way. Rohit Sharma, some months back, openly said that Sanju Samson is in the mix of things because the World T20 is in Australia and because we need players who can, because the ball is going to come onto the bat, he's a shot maker, he can take the game away from the opposition. But, Sanju Samson, these are the last few opportunities for him because there is no dearth of talent, batting talent in this Indian team. There is a bench strength, there is a bench strength of a bench strength and the bench strength of a bench strength.
That's what I'm saying.
So Sanju Samson has to convert now.
Correct. And on top of that, you're looking at this series now where India are not playing, their top players are not playing. Most of their top players are, there's Virat Kohli, there's Rohit Sharma, there is Jasprit Bumrah who's not there, Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, they're all not there, and yet this is such a strong team because this is just boasts of India's bench strength and how good they've been in the recent years. But Zimbabwe, they can take heart from the fact that they have just beaten Bangladesh emphatically in the ODI as well as in the T20I series at home. And in fact, I think have crossed 300. Once was a 300 target. Correct. And there was another one, Sikandar Raza scored a century. So Zimbabwe will look to, I don't know how, this is again interesting because this is a huge series for Zimbabwe cricket.
Correct.
They waited for this for a really long time, but how do they approach this? Do they approach it? They're obviously not going to say, oh, we're going to, it's going to be a series win for us. So they approach it match by match and they say, look, we've got to play well, hopefully win one match and then see how it goes.
Yeah, for them, it's India touring after 6 years and a team like India tours, hopefully there'll be crowds.
Yeah.
It's, the board makes some money, which Zimbabwe cricket needs desperately. So it's a big series for Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe, as we discussed yesterday, Mehan, now, slowly but surely are, getting their feet together across formats. In the last few years, they were just down and out. They were losing to almost every team in the world, associates, affiliates, everyone. Now they're getting their feet back. They've just beaten Bangladesh in ODIs and in T20Is, with Sikandar Raza being the player of the series in both those series. They are not playing some of their big players in this, like Sean Irvine and Chakabva. Many of their top players are not playing for various reasons, but they have a decent team, and the only way they can sort of compete with India if they surprise India. And for that, they'll need to play aggressive cricket. Like they played against Bangladesh, it won't be easy against India because of the quality, but they'll have to go on an all-out attack. I mean, you may see them scoring, all those chances are rare, maybe a 300, but they can also get out for 70. So, and that chance they'll have to take. Otherwise, there is no, no point scoring 180 against India.
And also they'd want to, try to win at least one, if not two matches in this series, because they also have to qualify for the ODI World Cup, and this will give them points for it. But it's interesting how a team like Zimbabwe would be approaching a series like this. This is a huge moment for them. And also for India, given that some of these players who are making a comeback, the pressure is going to be on them. The pressure time's running out for KL Rahul, time's running out for Deepak Chahar if they want to be part of the big tournaments. Of course, Asia Cup, I think in all probability, if Deepak Chahar does even decently, he will be there for the Asia Cup, but World Cup is the big ticket event that they all want to participate in. And I also wonder, and I know we've had this conversation again and again, Nikhil, but I still do wonder, why would you, when KL Rahul is coming back from an injury, I'm sure he has the stress of, what the comeback is going to be like. Why would you burden him with captaincy? I don't see why that was being done, especially after having announced Shikhar Dhawan's name, after Shikhar Dhawan having won an ODI series in the West Indies. That is the part that I fail to understand.
Yeah, it is. The only reason I can think, and I said it yesterday, is that KL Rahul as a player overall is higher in the pecking order in terms of importance and significance than Shikhar Dhawan for the foreseeable future. For the future, let us say. Shikhar Dhawan at max will play the ODI World Cup next year, at max. KL Rahul might be your next captain, might. There's Hardik Pandya now, but there might be. I mean, he was still before Hardik Pandya won with the Titans, right? So, KL Rahul is a very significant player across formats for
when
India.
He's making a comeback.
But they could have,
but
they could have not given him the captaincy. It's not also not fair on Dhawan to just make him the vice captain after now such a senior player, nice bloke. It's a Zimbabwe series, let it go. Yes, I can understand, but Indian cricket.
And lastly, for Ishan Kishan, what does this mean? I mean, for someone like Ishan Kishan, who was every time your main openers sat out, any one of them, Ishan Kishan was your backup opener, he played the series. Now suddenly there's been a complete shift in that, where Ishan Kishan's been sort of put aside. He's been told, you are no more part of our plans. I don't know how Ishan Kishan would be feeling.
Yeah, actually Ishan Kishan hasn't done too badly.
Exactly, that too on top of that.
He had failed in the middle part of the IPL when MI did terribly and MI were out of the race, yes. But towards the end of the IPL, he did get some good scores. Then against India, he was doing well. In fact, he was top scoring in one of the series just a few months ago. But then, I don't know what happened. They suddenly decided to drop him. They wanted to test Rishabh Pant in England. Then they got Surya Kumar Yadav, and since then they've forgotten Ishan Kishan for some reason. It's a little strange because Rohit Sharma has played a lot of his cricket for Mumbai Indians with Ishan Kishan. So Ishan Kishan is somewhere in the mix because he's still in the squad, but I don't know what happened because I don't see him, in the 15 for the World T20. It's slightly unfair for him. Number 3 also is, see, Ishan Kishan, if he has to play as an opener, although he has done well for Mumbai Indians at number 3-4 also, but he is someone who makes use of the fielding restrictions. Because he doesn't have a game like a Surya Kumar Yadav. He doesn't have that shot-making ability which Surya does.
So no one has that shot-making ability right now.
I think players like Rahul, Rohit, Kohli, of course they did.
No, of course they do, but I think what Surya Kumar Yadav has been doing in the recent times, that's been incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of those shots, and they all have the ability, but he's been the one executing it in the best way possible. So yeah, at the end of it all, I think it'll come down to how these players who are making a comeback, how they play, but also quickly a conversation on Ruturaj Gaikwad. And do you see him getting an opportunity in this series at some point? Maybe after they won the last first 2 matches, maybe they can give him, because I think just traveling around with the team and getting an opportunity. I mean, it's Zimbabwe. Do you see that happening for Ruturaj Gaikwad?
Things have changed for him rather dramatically. The highest scorer in the IPL last season, he was scoring hundreds after hundreds in the Vijay Hazare, remember, and now he's he's not even in the he may not make the 15 for the World Cup. I'll be surprised if he does. Frankly, I don't see him getting an opportunity in the 3 matches unless someone fails, and if this series is about giving opportunities, then he might get the 3rd ODI.
Correct.
But otherwise, I don't see Ruturaj fitting. He's good, but there are people who are just better. Let's put it this way.
The last day, wasn't he and Venkatesh Iyer who were
They were your blue-eyed boys.
They were scoring runs in
Venkatesh Iyer,
domestic cricket.
I don't know where he is.
He's disappeared. Ruturaj Gaikwad way down the pecking order, but such is, the vagaries of Indian cricket. We see that happen so often here. Hardik Pandya, who would have thought before the IPL began that Hardik Pandya would be captaining, 4 months from there, the Indian team, but that's how things turn out in Indian cricket. That's it then. India versus Zimbabwe. We'll get you all the latest. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to. That's it from Nikhil and me. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.